It is necessary to go up to the first great constructions raised by the first pharaohs in order to find this geometrical pattern. On one hand, it is about the royal tombs in Umelkap, and on the other, these sacred enclosures in Abydos, all of them linked to the lost city of Tinis. We can observe, when going deeply into the geometry of these constructions built during the first and second dynasty, that some of them respond to rectangles of width-length proportions 1:2 or 2:3. However, the proportions of some of these constructions respond to three very singular rectangles. Henceforth, the alpha rectangle of 1:162 width-length proportions, beta rectangle of 1:127 proportions, and beta prime rectangle of 0.5 by 1.27 proportions, which is simply the half length of beta rectangle. Therefore, the main proportions of all the real tombs at Umelkap and the sacred enclosures built 1 kilometer north during the first 300 years of the pharaoh's Egypt were designed above 5 rectangles. These buildings were the first greatest constructions in the history of Egypt, so it is logical to think that their design, so simple at first, had to be studied and discussed by the architects. It is hard to imagine the first pharaohs in the history of ancient Egypt considering something like, oh, alright, more or less this rectangle matches fine, so let's do something similar next to each other. But how can we know that this pattern really existed and that repetition of these proportions is not just a coincidence? The first steps will be to check that these proportions are repeated in all the rest of the pharaoh's architecture. Indeed, we are going to start an incredible trip through the whole architecture built during almost 3,000 years of ancient Egyptian history.